Hello all, welcome to Talk GCSE, where I talk about everything to do with GCSE topics and A-level economics topics. Now let's start with the basics. What is this behavioral economics? Behavioral economics looks at how real people actually make decisions rather than assuming they are always rational. Traditional economic assumes consumers always make decisions on maximizing utility, but in reality, people are influenced by emotions, habits, biases. For example, buying a £5 coffee every day might not be the most rational decision making, but people still do it out of habit or impulse. So, behavioral economics helps explain why real world decisions don't always match with economic theory. Now, let's have a look at the key concepts you need to understand. The first one is biases. They are systematic errors in thinking. For example, like bias is when someone overestimates their ability, like student thinking they don't need to revise or still expect a top grade, or it's like systematic deviation from rationality, like judgment. You think you like something more than the other. Second one is heuristics. This is basically a mental shortcut you use to make decisions, choosing a well-known brand in a supermarket because it feels safer, even if it's more expensive, or choosing like the first thing on the menu because you've always ordered it and you've basically it's the easiest one to look at. So yeah. And lastly, a thing called loss aversion. This means people feel losses more strongly than gains. For example, losing £10 feels worse than the satisfaction of gaining £10, which can make people avoid risks even when it might be more beneficial. These concepts actually explain why people don't always behave rationally. So, how does this show up in real life? Impulse buying is a classic example, like grabbing chocolate at checkout. This happens because heuristics and emotional decision making. Overconfidence can be seen in investing, where individuals believe they can beat the market even when evidence suggests otherwise. And brand loyalty, consumers repeatedly buying brands like Apple and Nike even when there's cheaper alternatives available, often due to familiarity or perceived quality. These behaviors show how psychological factors influence decision making every single day. Now, one of the most important ideas in behavioral economics is the concept of nudge. A nudge is like a small change in how choices are presented that influence behavior without restricting options. For example, automatically enrolling employees into pension schemes, increasing saving rates, because people tend to stick to a default option. Another example is placing healthier food at eye level in supermarkets to encourage better choicing. So, nudge guide behavior in a predictable way without forcing people. So, why do we think this is so important and why does it matter? First, it helps the government design better policies. For example, using nudges to increase tax compliance, like sending messages saying most people in your area have already paid their taxes. Second, it improves marketing. So businesses use behavioral insights like scarcity, limited time offer, or to encourage purchases. And thirdly, it improves our understanding of consumers. Farms can better predict behavior, like why people stick to certain brands and make irrational purchases. So overall, when we talk about behavioral economics, it helps explain real-world decision making and makes policies and businesses more effective. Now, if you have found this useful, please give me a subscribe. Check out the other content too if you're building your foundations, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.